welcome to Dave's Think Tank. In my last video I introduced my reimagined Bally Star Trek Arduino upgrade, complete with photon torpedoes, phaser light shows, an Enterprise computer simulation, a Klingon battle, a 60-second auto-destruct countdown, and too much more to list. Now, I want to tell you how you can upgrade your own Bally Star Trek pinball. There are several things you're going to need for this project. Number one, you need an Arduino programmable chip, fitted to be attached to your pinball's MPU board. You can build this yourself if you're really into electronics or money is tight, and I'll leave a link to a site that can help you with that. But you can also just buy a kit that's already done all that hard work. You also need a Robertonics wave trigger soundboard, a low-powered computer speaker, the software, and the sound files. One more item you might also want to have is a double pole, double throw toggle switch. If you intend to make any changes to the program, you will also need a computer cable with a USB micro connector on one end to connect to the Arduino board and a USB or USB-C connector on the other, whichever your computer requires. Now, the easiest way to get most of this is to purchase a kit. I've been talking to Roy G. Bev on pinside.com, and he is planning to sell a kit, including the Arduino, the wave trigger, and the software. This covers all the most difficult parts of the project and will have you up and running in minutes. So I highly recommend this. I'll leave a link in the description. So what do you do with all these pieces once you have them? This is the Arduino, and it has a 34-pin connector on the back. This attaches to the 34 or possibly a 33-pin connector on your MPU, depending which board you have. And no matter what MPU board you have, pin 29 right here will be missing, corresponding to this plug in the Arduino. And that ensures you can't plug it in incorrectly. So just fit the connector over the pins and carefully press it into place. Now, make sure you should have a jumper over these two pins. They're labeled switch. Now, if your MPU board only has 33 pins, you're going to need to attach this cable, which is included with the kit. This end attaches to this single pin here, labeled IRQ, and this end will attach to a resistor on the board. It's labeled R134. It's attached at the top. You're best to refer to the manual for that. Now, here's my Robertonics wave trigger board. I've already installed it. It just uses 4 small wood screws, and you should use some kind of plastic spacer on the back, just to make sure nothing is touching something it shouldn't. Now, your kit should come with a 6-pin ribbon cable, which attaches to the 6-pin connectors on both the wave trigger and the Arduino. So I'll just plug that in here. You can see this outside wire is red. It comes up to this inside connector on the wave trigger. So just refer to your manual. Make sure you don't have it connected backwards. By the way, this is the USB micro cable I mentioned earlier. It attaches here, and it allows you to reprogram the Arduino. I have mine looped out and back so that I don't have to take off the glass every time I want to reprogram. Next, you're going to want the sound files. Now, these can be found online. I'll leave a link in the description. Copy them to your computer and then copy them to the micro SD card in the wave trigger. Just press down The card should pop out, and be very careful. There's a big gaping hole into the depths of your pinball below. You're going to want one of these adapters, which you can buy online. Put it in there, plug it into your computer, and you can copy all the files onto here. Now, after copying the files, you want to carefully insert this back into the wave trigger. And this can be tricky, so just go slowly, carefully, and don't force it. It's going past a little spring here. There. Press it down, and it clicks into place. Now you need a computer speaker, like this one. They only cost about $20 and can be picked up just about anywhere. And just make sure it's got to have a 3.5mm stereo jack and a USB power connector. Now the stereo jack can be snaked through the vents on the back of the pinball, and it plugs into the wave trigger. The USB connector can be plugged into an old phone charger and then plugged into any wall outlet. Now this speaker plugged into the wall is going to work, but it's not an ideal situation. You probably want the speaker to turn off when you turn off the pinball. Instead of using a phone charger to provide 5 volts to the speaker, we can find a 5-volt source in the back box. Although it does require a little work, some soldering, some changes to your voltage regulator board. Let's take a look at what's required. Have you ever noticed on the J3 connector for the voltage regulator board, there's a loop of wire that connects pins 13 to 25. And this takes 5 volts from one section of the board to another. But if we were to connect those sections directly, this loop could be removed, freeing up 2 sources of 5 volts, which could then be used to power our speaker. Now, if you have an Alltech voltage regulator board, you don't need to make any modifications. Just remove the looping wire, and you're ready to connect your speaker. But if you're still using the original board, like I have here, you'll have to solder a wire on the back of the voltage regulator board connecting its TP, where are they? TP3 and TP1. A TP1 and TP3 are directly connected to J3 pins 13 and 25, so the loop connecting these pins can be removed. This is a recommended modification in any case. I have a video telling you more about it, and I'll leave a link in the description. Next, you need to make a special connector. This is known as a USB pigtail connector. It has a regular USB female plug on one end and bare wires on the other. And you can purchase this online. Now the red wire is your 5-volt line. And just crimp a standard, there's no way you can see that, crimp a standard 0.1 inch connector to the red wire. The black wire is your ground. There are no spare ground connectors on the J3 connector, but we can connect this wire to ground at the corner of the board. What you have to do, take just an ordinary metal washer and solder it onto the black wire. Now there may be 2 additional wires that are usually green and white. These are data lines and not needed for this purpose, so you can clip them off or tie them back out of the way. Here you can see the pigtail connector. The red wire is connected into pin 25 of J3, and the soldered washer is held under the corner screw of the board. Now I've placed it on top of the board, but you may need to place it under the board in order to get a good connection. And notice also that I've secured the wire under a clamp here to make sure there's no strain on the connections. And now speaker wires are coming out from the back. Here is the 3.5 speaker connector plugs in there. The power connector can now plug into here. And I'll put that underneath here as well to make sure it is held in place. Now, one more thing you have to do. You have to detach the old speaker from the old speaker board. And I'll tell you a bit more about that later. But for now, I think we can try it out. Let's turn on the pinball. First thing you should see is the version number, 2025-04. And you'll hear a quote right away. Within a few seconds, should hear another quote.
And if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a wagon.
Then another every 5 minutes. But start a game at this point. Try it out. Just to back up a little bit, for those of you who didn't buy a kit, you probably want to know how to get the software. The software is available from my GitHub website, and I'll leave a link to it. The software comes with a manual, and even if you bought the kit, you probably want to come here and you probably want to get this manual. So to download all of this, click up here on code and download zip, and you will have everything here. More than you could ever want. So you're best to refer to the manual for uploading the software into the Arduino, but basically this is the other end of the cable that we connected to the Arduino. Plug it into your computer. You need the...
Hello, computer.
Hello. Don't worry about that. Your computer will power on the speaker.
James Kirk, commanding the Starship Enterprise.
Okay, so you get the Arduino IDE. You load in the software, and you can compile it with this button, and download it with that button. And you're done. And even if you don't want the software code, you really should download the manual. You will definitely need it at some point. I mentioned you might want to buy a double pole, double throw toggle switch. I told you at some point to disconnect the speaker from your old speaker board. And that's because if it's connected, the Arduino is going to send sound commands to both the wave trigger and your old sound board, creating a lot of overlapping sound. But suppose you want to be able to run the old game sometimes. Here I have my double pole, double throw toggle switch. One side is connected through these wires to the switch connectors on the Arduino. The other side is connected to the ground wire. It's spliced into the ground wire on the old speaker board connector. So now we can plug this in. And if the connector is in the up direction, the switch here is connected and the speaker is disconnected, so we can play the new game. If it's in the down position, it's the opposite. This is disconnected, the old speaker is connected, and we can play the old game. You can run these wires out the vents at the back of the pinball, so the switch is always available. And again, this is all described in the manual. Now, one thing you may find disappointing. There are no Star Trek music files included in the package. The background sounds are currently restricted to bridge sounds, which are still pretty awesome. On my GitHub site I have a file called Musical Notes, which makes some recommendations and can give you some help in setting up some music to work with the software, but you have to find the music yourself. It should be available on the internet. The songs I recommend can certainly be listened to on Spotify and other music services. Once you have the music in files on your computer, the musical notes instructions will tell you what to do. Basically, you need to rename the files using this numbering system. 181 is for the bridge sounds. 182 through 187 are sound files that you've managed to find on the internet. 189 and 190 are background music for the mini games 1 and 2. Then, once you've renamed them in this manner, copy them to the micro SD card in the wave trigger. Then you need to edit the software using the Arduino IDE. Go to this file named st2025p04.h. And down at the very end of the file, there are about 50 lines of variables that are used to associate the sound files with events in the game. Voices when you win, voices when you lose, voices when you tilt. There's sound effects down here for explosions, sound effects associated with the slingshot, chimes, etc. All of the events in the game are listed here, and all of the associated sounds are attached. Now, 3 lines in particular are associated with background sounds. Background music, BG Minigame 1 and BG Minigame 2. They've all been set to 181. This is 7 files of 181. That's the bridge sounds, so all you have to do is uncomment the lines above, which include all of the music files here and include the 189 and 190, which we set up before. Now, background music is set up for 7 sound files. If you have more or less, you have to change this first number here to indicate the number of sound files you have. And you also have to change this number is the total number of values in this array. Then recompile and upload to the Arduino. Okay, I think that's enough for today. Let's play a game.
USS Enterprise calling Klingon vessel. Acknowledge, please.
Okay, let's get up and over. Get that B skill shot. Nope. Oh, got the A. It's worth 6,000.
Fire all phases.
Battle stations. All hands to battle stations.
Okay, going for the B still.
Arm photon torpedoes.
Fire all phases.
Still
USS
need the B.
Enterprise calling Klingon vessel. Acknowledge, please.
Nope.
Fire all phases.
Let's see if I can get a B if it's not a skill shot. Nope.
Arm photon torpedoes. Photon torpedoes, fire!
Okay. Let's try to get somewhere. Oh, right down.
Fire all phases.
Sensors are picking up a Klingon battle cruiser.
Okay, I'm going to try and go through the B. Because sometimes you go through the B and you get that top 500. Nope, not going to do it. Okay, got one. Got the 500. Got the 300. When did I get that? One more. No. Come on. Yes. $100,000. Okay, and straight into the next game. Oh, didn't even hit a single one. Oh.
Scotty, we need power.
That is brutal when it blows up. Okay, trying for the B. Let's make a skill shot in this game. Yes! There we go. I've got to hit something.
Fire all phases.
USS Enterprise calling
Okay.
Klingon vessel. Acknowledge, please.
Skill shot is the A. Oh, now I get the B. Oh,
Fire all phases.
great.
Try again.
Okay, I did so badly, I got to try again. I'm going to try and bounce it off the rebound and into the saucer. No! Oh,
Arm photon torpedoes.
the saucer didn't register.
Arm photon torpedoes.
Come on.
Arm photon torpedoes.
I need that L.
Fire all phases. Arm photon torpedoes. Fire all phases. Scotty,
Okay, go for the L. Ow.
Fire all phases.
Okay, why can't I make that rebound shot? Let's try it here. Okay. Oh, double rebound.
Photon torpedoes, fire. Fire all phases.
Too bad that wasn't a skill shot. Would have been 24,000 points.
This is Spock. Captain. Pull ahead. Walk back to one.
Walk back to one, Captain.
Okay, what did I get? 460,000. A decent game.
And if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a wagon.